Here's a handful of helpful tips, some workflow hacks, and some hotkeys that I think are really important for you to know. There'll be a bunch of these sprinkled throughout the course, but I'm sticking these most important ones in this video. So if you forget, you can always come back and you can find them here. All right, let's go. Now, say if you need a bone to line up with another one that's already existing in the right orientation, don't try to manually move it. Use the Align Bones operator. What if I want this bone to align with the same direction that that one is facing? You select them in that order. Select this guy, you shift select this one that you want to copy, and then hit Control-Alt-A in edit mode only. This is an operator for edit mode. But you can see that has aligned everything, the direction as well as the bone roll. Align bones, Control-Alt-A. Now when you're building your rig from scratch and you need to create a bone, sometimes it's easier to duplicate an existing bone and edit it from there. So if I duplicate this bone, and then reposition it, it's taken on the same orientation, which might be something that I want. It also copies the parenting and any constraints and custom properties that were existing on that first bone. So to speed up your workflow, just sometimes think, is there an existing bone that has or any of these properties on it that I need? But don't forget, if you copy a bone and you don't need that custom property or all those constraints on it, sometimes it's not easier. Sometimes copying a bone will actually be the long way of doing it because you'll need to remove all that other stuff. But that's up to you to decide whether it's easier to copy an existing bone or create a new bone. Symmetrize is your friend. So here I have a whole bunch of bones selected and they all end with the .l suffix. So to get them across to the other side, I can bring up my menu to symmetrize them by hitting the right click button, or because I'm not using default keys, I hit W and then choose symmetrize. And that will copy them across to the other side. Another way of finding symmetrize is just by searching, by typing F3 and then going symmetrize. That is that tool there. Now symmetrize is a super powerful tool because not only will it match one side to the other on the selected bones, and it doesn't matter if those bones exist or not. For example, I'll move them over here. They already exist. Let's symmetrize again. Symmetrize. You can see that they've now been put back into the place. It will also symmetrize your constraints. Say if you edit a constraint on this side, let's just really break this. I can use the symmetrize in edit mode, W, symmetrize. That will edit the constraint on the other side. Of course, now I've broken my car. Yeah, undo. There's absolutely heaps of ways of selecting bones and objects inside Blender in both edit mode and pose mode. There's no way that I can show you all the different ways, but I want to bring to your attention some of the menus and options that you have available to you. Up here in edit mode, we have the select menu, and I want to bring your attention to the similar menu here. We can select by different options: length, prefix, suffix, layer, the group that they're in, and this makes it super helpful to select certain bones. So say if I wanted to select all of the bones in this chain, but they're not parented to each other, so I can't use the L way of selecting. I can actually just select a couple, then go to the select menu, go similar, select siblings, and that's going to select that whole chain because they have the same parent. We can also select from the same prefix or suffix. So say if I wanted to select all the def bones because I have DEF bones selected, I can go prefix. And that's selected all of my bones there. Now in pose mode, there's different options. Those ones aren't all available to you, but you do have some of the same here: layer, group, keying set. You can also do patterns. You can do this in the edit mode as well. But say if we wanted to select all our mechanism bones, we can just type mech and then use the wildcard with the asterisk. And if we want to extend or not, actually let's disable that. You can see now I've swapped my selection from the def bones over to all the mechanism bones. So what I'm saying here is check out the select menu, because sometimes it's easier to use this to select what you want than trying to click on every single bone. Now when you're creating a rig, it's very helpful to be able to do snapping. So up here in the top, you've actually got the different snapping modes. I often find it's very helpful to leave it on vertex. So then when we grab a bone and then hold down Control, it's going to activate that snapping set. But you'll notice that it has a lot of trouble trying to snap when there's geometry in the way. So if that's the case, you can just quickly jump into local view, then try it again, and it will snap to what you want it to snap to. And then you can jump back out of local view. And local view is just slash. Now you can also combine snapping with constraining. So say if I want it to snap to this position, but not the height, I can actually do the same thing. I'm just going to local view. If I hit G and then X, and then I hold down, it's only going to move along the X-axis. So you can see it's still stuck to the ground. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the Y-axis. G, Y, snap. There we go. And don't forget, you can do the same thing with different parts of your bone. So say if you need to snap the end of your bone, G, constrain it, and then snap it to the end there. That way, those ends are in line. Guess my point is, snapping is cool. And my last workflow tip is about scripting. So I think it's very helpful to be able to learn how to script, but don't put pressure on yourself to do it all at once. In the course, we'll be starting off with a really simple script like this. I think you should start small and then build your skills. Now, learning to script might slow you down initially, but if you invest in this skill, eventually it's going to speed up your workflow, especially when you're doing things that are error prone or very repetitive. Scripting is really great for those tasks. But start small and work your way up. You might find yourself writing this code out every time that you need to use it. Then you might actually save it to your computer and drag it into your file. Then you might get really bored of that and to actually turn it into an operator and a button so that you can just click the button and it does what you need to do. But as I said, start small and build your way up. But that's all the tips and tricks and workflow hacks for this video. Keep your eye out throughout the course for lots of tips and tricks that you can adapt to your own workflow. But that's all I've got for this video. So I will see you in the next one.